everybody here at Woodward, the nation en masse was lied to by Minnesota Vikings fans. We were all lied to, and I know it hurts. I know it hurts when we place our trust into people and what they say for them to deceive us. But the Minnesota Vikings fans deceived us.
They lied about the quarterback.
They lied
about the head coach.
They lied about all of them. And in the end, you saw it. And D-Mac, an entire season of schedule merchant wins and fraudulent activity finally was uncovered. In the space of 8 days, we have ridded ourselves of that low-down, dirty scam that was the Minnesota Vikings. And D-Mac, all this time that their fans were pounding the table and yelling in our chat and attacking me on social media, attacking my friends, even Sean Belisian on social media. And Sean said, what did I do? He had to pay for my sins.
Guilty by association.
Guilty by association. But D-Mac, in the end, we were lied to. The Minnesota Vikings are fraudulent. And I know that your little fantasy drafts and everything tell you that Justin Jefferson's this god, right? He's looked regular as hell the last couple weeks. And that's been a theme with him, by the way. You go back to, that Giants playoff game where they lost to Daniel Jones. He didn't even have 50 yards receiving that day either. Lots of shots of him pouting on the sidelines. Amon-Ra would never. Amon-Ra would never. So the bottom line is this, Vikings. And Vikings fans, I hope you learned your lesson. So next year, well, it won't happen next year because you guys will have a real schedule. But if it does happen next year, please don't fall for it. I'll take the responsibility for this one. I got broad shoulders. I can handle it. But if you fall for it again next year, Vikings fans, that's on you and I can't help you.
Where are you at? Like put yourself, don't you like to empathize and put yourself in the position? If you are one of those, if you're a Viking fan, right, go back to before the Lions game, before these last two games. Where are you before that and where are you now? Because the whole thing is, if I'm looking in the mirror as a Vikings fan, there are so many questions, and it's we overachieved and stuff, and it was a cute story, but moving forward, you're not at that elite level. I mean, the NFC is more of, what the SEC turned out to be, where I think more Green Bay and more Minnesota are fraudulent to what their record was or where they finished, or how we always heard, the NFC, the toughest division. Now we're the alphas of this division. We have to go and prove that. It got me thinking too, Neil. You know what it comes down to? You always mention this, and I think it gets lost in the sauce. Strength of schedule. The schedule you play during the season with the games that are easier for a non-winning team, and at the top of the league, the tougher. But those are the games that sort of prepare you for now, because you weren't prepared. I mean, you had no chance. Sam Darnold didn't get his
no shot.
He didn't, but he didn't get that deer in the headlights look. Like you'd think, can he bounce back? I mean, it's just sort of like embarrassing. But I think that coming off of the last two games, you're a Minnesota fan, you were sold a bill of goods.
100%. You know what I'm saying? Vikings fan looked us all in the eyes and directly lied to our face.
Smoking mirrors. And how many guys are grateful that they hadn't signed? Who wants to sign Sam Darnold to a 5-year deal now?
I hope the Vikings sign him for 5 years, 10 years.
They not.
Give that man a lifetime contract. Keep him in the NFC North forever.
They not.
I was just going to say that the Minnesota fan is down enough right now, so I'm not going to kick anything off.
I am.
You have to. Because
right. You got sports city.
But
the most
Neil, they
poverty
came after
sports city
you.
of all time.
Yeah. Cool
they came
city.
after you first, Neil, and this is what happens.
Because I know you all are inside because you live in Minneapolis and the wind chill's like 30 below right now. So I know you're all inside watching, by the way. And look, other people around here can forgive. I don't. You looked me in the eye and you lied to me, Vikings fans, on social media, everywhere. Jesse in the super chat. Jesse, they lied to you. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, last two games, 12 combined catches, 31 targets, 140 yards. Both of them together. Your super receiver room, right? Oh, it's not even close. I'd take Justin Jefferson over Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams. Okay, bro. Cool story. You reap what you sow, Vikings. You did this to yourself.
Facts.
Neil, you was right. I'm going to give you what you want. You were right.
That's all they have to say.
They made the Rams defense look like a good defense. They had as many sacks as the Vikings had points. I said that on the
I'll tell you
show.
what, I knew that was going to happen because the Rams defense isn't great, but they got good pass rushers. Like Byron Young, they got the kid out, Jared Verse. He's a Pro Bowler, he's a rookie,
scorer.
or All Pro as a rookie.
Yep.
Fisk up the middle. Like they've got some good pass rushers. I knew Sam Darnold was going to run for his
Matchups make
life.
fights. What were we talking about? Darnold holding that ball in the pocket. You can't make those mid throws, but he's also he holds that ball in the pocket
'Cause he's
longer
scared.
than anybody who's not mobile.
But
'Cause he's scared.
He's been successful at it this year, but what the Rams did is copy and pasted what the Lions did last week, and it worked.
You just turn up the heat, and it's over. And he's not going to, even with big, bad Justin Jefferson, he's not going to do anything to you. He's powerless. Justin Jefferson, powerless. Like that. Burn in the super chat. KOC is coach of the year. Did you see that team of bums he dragged to 14 wins?
Yeah,
Besides coach of the year is the good but not good enough award. Vikings win that every single year. Vikings, what have you ever done? Like you piped up a lot. What has your franchise ever done?
Like you said, they fell apart in 8 days. That's all it took.
8 days and a whole season was gone. In 8 days.
Thanos snap.
Poof. Gone. Woodward Sports, Super Chat, Owen Mullen as well. We need a whole I Was Told segment on the Vikings. I was full of joy watching that collapse last night. How many of their fans actually thought they had a chance is hilarious. 9 sacks. 9.
I will say that was one of the most satisfying hate watches I've ever had in my entire life.
Great hate watch.
Yeah.
It was. I was texting D-Mac last night and just
some of the memes that were coming across in tears and
The
stuff like
Guangdong
this.
Tigers one. Neil!
Steve DeYoung in the chat. Neil, a part of me was, and this is me too, a part of me was begging the Vikings to put in Daniel Jones so it would come full circle and they would lose with him, also to him.
Yeah.
Darnold was seeing the ghost of Aaron Donald last night. I wanted Daniel Jones in that game so bad. So bad, D-Mac.
You needed one more score.
Yeah.
Nope, it was. So, again, tell me more about the Packers. Tell me more about the Vikings. Tell me more how this isn't our division. Last year, this year, for the foreseeable future. Business is closed in the NFC North.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Over. OVA. D-Mac, it's over. So, that's it.
It was over.
It's been over.
It's been over. It's just officially everybody got their memos in the mail.
Yeah.
It showed up in writing.
Jerry Alexander, the Minnesota North Stars left Minnesota, won a Stanley Cup in Dallas. The Lakers left Minnesota and won like 15 championships.
Minnesota is I'm not saying this as just hate or facetiously. Minnesota is literally the most poverty sports city in America.
Put its resume up against anyone and tell me what you... And they got 3...
Yeah.
They got all 4 pro sports teams.
They got all 4 pro sports teams, and they're the most poverty sports city in America.
And you can't name anything any of them have done.
Minnesota, the baseball team won, right?
In the 90s.
They
they needed a Detroit pitcher to do it when Jack Morris went there and won Game 7.
But is that their only championship?
The Twins, yes.
That's the only That's the last time they won a championship.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been
it's a lot of noise
35 years.
They make a lot of noise for
having done nothing ever.
City of collapse.
No doubt. Except the Twins had the most historic collapse in the history of baseball last year.
Yeah,
So thank you.
I can't wait for Anthony Edwards to leave you.
And go to Detroit.
Go anywhere. I love Anthony Edwards. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. I can't wait
Great
for him.
dude, by the way.
I can't wait for him to leave you guys. You don't deserve it.
That's hate for real.
No, Anthony Edwards is excluded in all that.
Yes, I love Anthony Edwards.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you see what he did with the kid with the bracelet?
Yes.
You know whose kid that is? Former Oakland player, Saginaw legend Larry Wright.
Nice.
Shout out.
Yeah, his son's got leukemia, so that was pretty cool that he did that. So Anthony Edwards, you're excluded. Everybody else trash.
Yeah, but he's not from there, is he?
No.
Okay.
He'll leave. Even Cat left eventually. He'll leave.
Yeah. Jester Crew in the super chat. Jefferson can do something. Count Meek's change while he's in Meek's pocket. He did. Meek just took a little Justin Jefferson and just put him in his pocket.
Yep.
Like
Had
raw
him holding
candy.
his pocket up and down the field.
Yeah. That's all he did. Like when after that game was over, Justin Jefferson came out of his pocket. There was lint stuck to him and all that stuff, dude. Oh, that was fun to watch. In the super chat, George Ribbo. I've been loving the Viking slander all season. Last night, Darnold broke a record for the most sacks in a postseason game. We need the "I was told" segment. No, I was told. I was told he was great. And Zachary, don't lose this. That corny locker room celebration jinxed them.
Celebrating nothing.
That was their Super Bowl celebration. You
Right.
don't lift guys over your heads unless they break records or
Do something. They won a regular season game.
they made the playoffs.
Just to get beat by the Lions.
And then put out of their
That's not
misery.
winning, Joy.
That's not winning, boys.
The Honolulu flu. It continues. It's terminal.
The Rams took the Vikings out back. I'll do it, Pa.
Yeah.
They're sick. Might as well.
He's got that mad cow disease.
It's time to tend the rabbits, George.
Yeah.
Dante 151 real quick. Yellow super chat. I was so bored of that game. I had the Pistons on the main TV and Tom Grossi on my phone, and people buying super chat linking Kelly Stafford to everything. That happened worldwide. It was awesome. So
Beautiful stuff.
No, it was beautiful stuff. All right, I do want to get in Lions Commanders. Hey,
The
Vikings.
Bears.
Peace out.
The NFC North is dead.
The Dan Campbell speech from the day he was hired, the kneecap speech. We have that. It's all on the. It's electric. It's a cool shirt, man. Shop.woodwardsports.com. Speaking of that, Spenny, you got the DM we got sent?
Yes, I do.
And D-Mac, as we ride off on this Vikings thing and you know, their season set sail because they're done. They're no longer included. I'm still getting them, by the way. DM yesterday. Sebastian Chose sent this to me on Instagram. Booing the children from Traverse City, Michigan.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Rams were playing, so he had his uniform on, the Boot 'em Kids shirt.
Boo kids. Not just one, but all kids.
All the kids. Absolutely. So, yeah, that was cool. Burn in the super chat. It's okay, Minnesota. Watch Ant play on your old team, the Lakers. You can imagine a different timeline when the Minnesota Lakers stayed. Big Cuz, no, don't hide now, Kelly. Bring the whole family. Could you guys imagine?
I think that's going to be the matchup, bro. I'm not going to lie to you.
You think they're going to beat the Eagles?
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
And this wasn't the topic I wanted to get to, but you know what? Whatever. I do want it. I want it again. And this is, and for the crowd, I don't want to see Stafford again. Guys, get this through your head, all right? That was the same. I don't want to play the Vikings. I don't want to play the Packers. We beat the piss out of them all the time.
Yeah, I'm not
Why
worried
would you
about
not want to play what you've beaten regularly?
Right.
Like, we need. This does play into what we're going to talk about next. But D-Mac, maybe you can help me here. We need a shift in mentality. Because you know how many. We put my discussion about the Commanders. Yesterday, D-Mac, I talked about the Commanders and how they have no concept of what they're walking into. And it's not a Jaden Daniels thing. It's not even a football thing. The two teams that come in here these next 2 weeks, you don't understand what's about to happen. You don't understand this fan base and where we're from. You think you do, but you don't have any idea. Can you imagine if we have that in our grasp, that at the end of 60 minutes, we go to the Super Bowl in Ford Field? It's bigger than any football team that's left in the NFL.
Yeah.
And D-Mac, the point of the story is this, that we need to adjust our thinking. Stoke Not Scared. That shirt's, by the way, that's a D-Mac-inspired original at shop.woodwardsports.com. D-Mac, it's time to lock into Stoke Not Scared. It's time.
It's bottom line, when it came out and everybody in the locker room, player says that this team, this player, whatever else is in the way of us accomplishing our goal. It's the same for the fan base, right? Last week we showed Dan Graziano talking about his experience at Ford Field, and at the end of his quote, paraphrasing, he said, I don't see how anybody comes in here and wins. That atmosphere, home field, is something. This is what every Lions fan has been prepared for. So lockstep with your team. It's business as usual, right? Everybody knows, and there's been big enough games there now, especially at the end of the season, how to act, how the noise, how the crowd level, how the experience not only helps your team, but it can hinder and cause some penalties for the other team. It's like you have an influence, whatever it is, a little bit more than anywhere else. Is that fan base? Everybody who talks about it, who comes in here.
And D-Mac.
And it's on. This is your Super Bowl time. Like this even more than last year, right? Even though last year we had a playoff home win and we got a taste of it. So now you know. Everybody knows where they're going tailgating. Everybody, this isn't a mad dash. This is the second year for us, just like this team in task at hand. So everybody going to the game, they know where they're tailgating. They know when they got to be in their seats. They know they're going to be in there for, like, we are well conditioned as a fan base also. It reminds me going back to Joe Louis Arena days. This is what it's like when we were winning and clipping off cups or playoff runs. Everybody had their routine. We just got out of it a little bit with the Tigers, with their playoff run and end of the season. Everybody got into it. That's what we're made for here. You know, if the 12th man means something, or the fan base in this city does matter. And I'm speaking as from a guy that has played in front of you, right? It's the motivating factor. We can get into it like those aches and pains. We don't feel them because you can adrenalize. As excited and amped that you are, we are too. Now, as a player, you've just found a way to be able to control and play in front of them. But look at the way, like, pretty much, and take it from Neil, hasn't it been more than not the way that this Lions fan base travels? They really haven't not had a home game.
Well,
or the vibes
true.
of a home game, and you see what it means to how these guys perform.
And D-Mac, I've been waiting to ask you this because it's relevant. That building in 1997, Game 1. That was different.
Well, game
tell
one,
me how different that building was that day. And that's my point about this NFC Championship game that's coming up in a couple weeks. Yes, it is. And we'll get to the Commander stuff later and lay down the why.
You know what? It really, going back to that, because we didn't play the first finals game until Game 3, and we were up 2-0 on Philly. So even like people like from going into the series against the Legion of Doom, and even people like yourself were going, Lindros, and how they go.
Once they got back, I knew that was a wrap.
Coming back 2-0, right, going into Game 3, and I think we won 6-0 or something like that. Like I tell everybody, the best feeling, if anybody was there, is you're up 3-0 going to Game 4, right, at home. And I remember, and it's not being cocky or arrogant, but like driving to the rink and going, we're going to raise the cup tonight. We're going to win. And having that feeling.
That's the feeling I have right now.
That was different than anything else, right? And I will change that back, because Game 7 in 2009 against Pittsburgh, you had confidence, like you're at home Game 7, but you didn't have that feeling. There's just been like a couple feelings where you got like,
where it
no
was
matter
inevitable.
What, it's gonna happen, and that's the feeling we have now, because we're on a mission, right? It's a mission, also with and lockstep. Because even back then, Neil, what was lockstep? The team and the fans, right? And when in Detroit sports, when the fans and the teams are in lockstep, it's electric.
And that's my point. And that's why, and I'd forgotten that too. Yeah, it was Game 3. It was already 2-0. So you knew if you win Game 3, it's a wrap.
It's a
Lindros ain't
wrap.
coming
So
back
you knew
from
even
that.
if you were at that game.
That's what's crazy
Bring me
about
the
it.
money,
Real,
Spenny.
real quick, Spenny. Jester Crew in the Super Chat. Rams come to Detroit for the NFC Championship, and the Lions in Detroit crowd going to have the Rams and Kelly turtling worse than D-Mac had Lemieux turtling. That is probably
Facts.
true. What do you got, Spenny?
I was just going to clean up a couple of those Super Chats before we go to break. Is Burn in there says, it's okay, Minnesota. Oh, you already did that one. Shane Daniel, we are the team that other fans are scared of now. Can we quit on they got this guy, they got that guy? Yeah, we got J.G. Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown,
That's my
J-Mo,
point.
Kirby.
That's what I'm trying to drive home.
We got the stars. We got the first team All-Pros. We got the guys that lead the league in interceptions. We got the guys that other teams are scared of.
No question. Made in the USA. I donated some cookies. Love your guys' show. Thank you, Made in the
Appreciate
USA.
you.
Yeah, there's
Hopefully
a link
you
to
got
my
some
daughter's.
Samoas and not Thin Mints. Thin Mints are disgusting.
Neil, I think this is a great conversation, to have after the break or whatever. And you nailed it, and we did this before. Who do you like better?
And that's exactly where we're going.
In what position group?
That's exactly where the only thing I like better.
Hey, Washington's a nice team. They're my backup team. I love.
You were on them all year.
But I mean, and since you put the shine on Jaden Daniels at LSU when you said, real deal, right? He's been the real deal. He's it's a nice story, but they're not ready to make that step.